Hey guys, today I'm going to talk to you about one of the most famous and most successful franchises in cinema history and maybe in literature too, and that's the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Of course, the books have been here for a long time. I think they were released maybe in the 1920s, 30s, because it tells basically the experiences of the writer during World War One, and he translated that into a fake world, of course, where elves and dwarves and hobbits and a bunch of other people interact and have wars against each other like every moment. Basically, it's very violent if you see it. And of course, that was adapted into a trilogy of movies from 2001 to 2003 by New Zealand's most well-known director, maybe up to Taika Waititi, maybe, which is Peter Jackson. Of course, those movies made New Zealand, I think, a little bit more well-known into the world, because in many places in the world, I don't think they even knew New Zealand existed or was like that beautiful, to be honest. And Peter Jackson really helped bring the country into the international spotlight, and now many movies and TV shows and documentaries are shot in New Zealand, which is very great. So I'm doing this review because I recently saw the three movies again over 3 weekends, and I saw the extended cuts of each one of them. The first two are more than 3 hours long, 3 hours and a half maybe, and the last one is 4 hours long, which is of course long as hell, which I think is kind of funny, because now people are like, oh my god, how am I going to see a movie that is 4 hours or 5 hours? Well, you just see it. I mean, I just saw Zack Snyder's Justice League 2, and that was long as hell, and I saw it, and I saw The Irishman, that was long. People overcomplicate things. Just take a break to go and take a dump or piss or whatever the hell is that you want to do, and make yourself a nice meal to accompany your viewing experience, and that's it. Don't overcomplicate yourself. You're not that busy. The movies are just as great as I remember them. I have to say that some things in the movies have aged not so good, some of the visual effects, but other aspects of the movies, like the grandiosity of the scenery, precisely, I mean, the use of New Zealand as a set for Middle Earth is amazing. It's beautiful. It's just so perfect. I mean, Peter Jackson really did a great job scouting the locations, and everything is just beautiful. And if you have read the books and know the story, you really know how to trace these characters along the different parts of Middle Earth, which is kind of amazing, because this is a made-up world with made-up people, with made-up languages even, but you can really follow each character in each place and each moment. It's really that great, and you really discover their personalities. And that's what's cool about the extended cut of all these movies, is that you really understand a little bit more about what makes each character themselves a little bit, especially the hobbits. I mean, it was a little bit too fast in the original cuts of the movies, but in these ones you really get a sense of who Merry is, and who Pippin is, and who Gandalf also is, and a little bit more about the context that encircles Frodo in a way, because if you realize Frodo is just a single guy who has never had apparently any attraction for any woman. I mean, I don't know, I see some LGBT things in these movies and in these books, because it's strange. I mean, it's very unusual for a hero of a saga, of a story this big, to be a single person, and then at the end he just lives for another world because he's too tired, in a sense. He just wants to let go, and I think that's a beautiful story, and I don't think that's the intention of the writer originally, but it is there. And it's cool that after many years of almost 100 years of these books being published, we can really interpret things in some other ways, and really see each other and everyone in this world. That's what's amazing about the Lord of the Rings. I'm not really that interested about the wars between the elves and the men and the dwarves. I mean, all of that is pretty cool, and the visuals of action scenes and all of that is amazing, but the personal stories of each one of the characters and how they interact, I mean, the sensitivities that they manage, and the toughness of some of the characters, and how every region has like different kinds of people in a way. I mean, that's all very interesting, I think, and the fact that there's only 3 strong women in the whole saga is amazing. I mean, even there's one female character in the Hobbit movies that I haven't rewatched yet, but that character was invented for the movie. I mean, there's just Galadriel and and Liv Tyler's Arwen and Miranda Otto's Eowyn that are the strong female characters. And you know, one of them sacrifices her life basically for her man. The other is a non-powerful elf, so she's above everything basically. She's one of the strongest people in Middle Earth. And at the end there's Miranda Otto with her character being the only one who can destroy the Witch King, which is kind of amazing. They're very powerful women, but they are very scarce and sparse in the world of Middle Earth, which is kind of amazing because it reflects the times that Tolkien was living in. I mean, of course there were very strong women back then, that they were relegated to the back. They were always at home, they were always there, but not really present in the moments of war and action, apparently, because he made a case for them being always there, being always essential for the development of humanity in real life, but also for all these species in Middle Earth. I think it's a very valid saga of stories, not only the books but also the movies. This video is about both of them, to be honest. The movies are really good, but I think the books also give you a little bit more perspective, and if you watch the context and if you watch many different aspects of it, you realize how important this story is and why it's so successful. Stories based in fantasy, in the genre of fantasy, in the genre of mythology, they're always deemed to be like less important for literature. Like, oh, these are little characters that do like adventures and quests. Little literature, which is stupid. I mean, it's like diminishing something just because you don't like it. I mean, the fact that literature has to be this dark thing when you don't understand shit they're saying, but that's what makes it great, basically, that's just idiotic. J.K. Rowling is cancelled as fuck. But Harry Potter is a very important book for our times. I mean, it was one of the best-selling books ever, and it made kids read, which is amazing. So that's why Harry Potter cannot be ignored in literature. I mean, you just cannot avoid it. Just as the Hunger Games, for example, it really was a big thing in the young adult novel kind of genre. So you cannot just ignore that just because you think it's for the lesser people, audience, if you will, that reads. That's just idiotic. I mean, no one is reading anymore, so you want really to attract people to read, and not only read the classics, the ones that no one fucking understands, but also these stories that really tell many stories about humanity and how we are and how we could be and how we should avoid to be and what our problems are. I mean, these books even talk about psychological problems. With Gollum, for example, he has two personalities and he's trying to battle each at every single moment, because one of his personalities wants to kill everyone and get the ring, and the other just wants to be what he originally was, apparently, a simple person. So it's kind of amazing that a book, a movie can tell so many stories, and people just have to dig a little deeper and get interested, and that gets you into a whole new world of stories, and not only in Middle Earth but in many other books and films. So I think that's why this is so important, and please watch the extended versions, please read the books, and please enjoy the world of Middle Earth, because Tolkien did something quite amazing with those stories and with all the other stories he wrote, of course. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please comment down below what you think about what I said in this video. Please, of course, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share this on all your social media. Thank you so much. Goodbye.